Welcome to Lifting You Up with Kasandra Prieto, your best friend in real estate, sponsored by the man, the myth, the legend, Chris and Corbin Edwards with Tucson Appliance Company. We are so excited for this special guest today, but happy Saturday, everybody. Remember, this is an uplifting next 30 minutes. Make sure to have your pen, papers, get all the little nuggets that you possibly can. And man, I do feel that today's going to be extra motivational because I have such a special guest, Ms. Gayle Petrillo. How are you?
I'm good and so excited to be here with you.
Yes.
Cassie, we go back how many years?
Oh my gosh. At least a decade.
Yeah, at least.
Gayle. I mean, I must have been one.
Well, that means I was like 15.
15. I love saying that every time someone tells me, like, no, it was not when I was in my early 20s, 20 years ago. But either way, so we've got a very special talk, and I'm going to go right into her bio in just a little bit. But today we want to get started with our why. Why Lifting You Up with Kasandra Prieto? What is our mission? What are we trying to accomplish here with this show? And so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Our mission is to elevate, empower, and celebrate the stories of Hispanic leaders and local business owners in our community. Through meaningful, heartfelt conversations, we shine a light on individuals who have overcome cultural conditioning, self-doubt, and struggle, and they've chosen to rise, lead, and inspire. This platform, co-hosted by Chris Edwards and myself, is dedicated to telling more than just stories. It's about sharing real turning points, self-discoveries, and wisdom gained along the way. We believe that these voices matter. They reflect the heart of our community and the strength within our culture. I am so excited to have Ms. Gayle here. And before we dive into her bio, this little lady, she's been traveling and doing all kinds of stuff. This is your third interview today?
Third interview. I started at 5 a.m. on a live show out of New Jersey.
Oh my gosh. Okay. What show is that, or what? Tell me about it.
It's called ONNJ.
ONNJ.
New Jersey.
Okay.
And it's a locally produced show on a major network affiliate. I hired a publicist.
You were telling me about that. Oh my gosh, tell me more.
This woman is out of Florida. Heather is incredible. I've been working with her about 4.5 weeks. I've been on 15 podcasts.
Oh my gosh.
I was on TV this morning in New Jersey. I'm going to be on TV in studio in October in Atlanta.
Oh my gosh.
And then a few weeks later, I'm going to be probably in studio at a major affiliate in Chicago.
Oh my God. Okay. Ms. Gayle, I need your autograph before you get all famous. And I'm like, I knew her 10 years ago when I was one. That's awesome. And so this is your third interview today. I mean, if you've been spending the last month doing that, I mean, you're a pro at this point. Remember our first interview?
I don't.
It was 10
Remind
years
me.
ago. It was at the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Oh,
I mean, it was
gosh.
with my phone, and I was just starting social media and stuff. Yes, and you were talking to me about your book, which we're going to definitely talk about. I'm so excited to redo and really compare to the difference. If I can find that video from a while ago, I'm going to try to do a side by side. That would be cool.
Oh, I don't know if we want to do that. I've learned
right.
a lot, come a long way, but I am far from perfect.
Oh, nobody is. But all right, so we're going to dive right into Gayle Petrillo's bio and talk a little bit more about who she is and everything that she's done up to now. And man, we are going to talk about everything she's about to do because, girl, you are blowing up. Okay, so Gayle Petrillo is an inspiring author, coach, a speaker based in Tucson, Arizona, a survivor of a traumatic burn accident in early childhood. Gayle transformed her experience of adversity into a force of empowerment. In her first memoir, The Accident 2021, she shares that her story of trauma, self-doubt, and ultimately resilience, an account she continues in her second book, Becoming Visible. And this was released in April. Okay, so this is going to be your second book, Gayle. Since 2017, Gayle has empowered professionals, especially women over 50 and aspiring executives, to build confidence through career coaching, including resume refinement, mock interviews, networking skills, and personal branding. Her empathetic yet pragmatic approach makes her a sought-out speaker, which she is an amazing speaker. I've seen her, whether engaging school, children, nonprofits, or corporate audiences. She is just phenomenal. Gayle's work, it centers on the belief that vulnerability sparks healing. Gosh, I love that. By telling my story, she says, I not only give others permission to share theirs, I continue to heal and help others do the same. Gayle, welcome to my show, Lifting You Up with Kasandra Prieto. I have a really big feeling that you're about to lift us up.
I certainly hope I can do a little bit of that. I'm excited to be here.
Well, we're going to dive right into our 3 questions, and then we're going to be able to talk about a lot more. But this show is circling around 3 very important questions. And the first one is always a turning point. So talk to me about a turning point that literally changed everything for you. I know that you must have, we all have so many turning points, right? But what has been one that you want to share with us today, but that really changed everything for you?
Yeah, so I'm going to take you back to 2019. It was September 12th. I had launched my business about 1.5 years prior, and I launched my business with fashion shows. And they were fundraisers for Beads of Courage. So for your audience here in Tucson, you know that is a locally founded nonprofit supporting seriously ill children and their families. And I had met Jean, the founder, through a mutual friend who sat on her board. And so year 1, it was a tiny event, and it was very successful. And people were like, oh, you have to do this again, because if you know Tucson, things grow exponentially.
Absolutely.
So year 2, 2019, I threw the second fashion show. Instead of 80 people in the audience, there were over 200. I had over 55 exhibitors.
Oh my gosh.
It was incredible. It was at the Hilton it wasn't. It was at the JW Marriott Star Pass Resort.
Beautiful.
It was incredible. So we had a runway with the models, and in between the models, there was entertainment. So while the entertainment and whatnot was going on the runway, I was backstage chit-chatting with Jean, catching up. And she knows I live vicariously through her, because it's not just Tucson, she's international. So she could be in Japan or London. She could be in Chicago or New York City. And so we're backstage, and I said, so Jean, where have you been? And she looked at me and she said, I just spent a couple of days in the burn unit at Phoenix Children's Medical Center. Dead silence.
Yeah.
I opened my mouth, no words came out, and tears just flooded my eyes. So I'm wiping them away, the tears, and I'm ruining my mascara. And we know timing is everything. The MCs, who are anchors at Channel 4, were like, and let's bring up Gayle Petrillo. So I come down and I get behind the podium, and the tears are still like uncontrollable. And I wiped them away, and I looked at the audience, and most of them, I knew some, I didn't know all. But the person, really the only person in the audience who thought at the time he knew my whole story, was my husband of 45 years.
Oh my God.
So I'm standing there and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I was just talking to Jean. She mentioned spending a couple of days with burned children in the burn unit at Phoenix Children's. I wish I and my family had had that kind of support as a toddler when I was burned. Dead silence.
Yeah.
Now, after you start speaking, you learn what to do with that silence and you use it. I did no such thing. Didn't know. So I just went right on with the program. Had never uttered those words before. No one knew my story. most people felt that I was the invisible little mouse.
Which
And
you
that's what
are.
I wanted to be. I wanted to be as invisible as I could.
Mm.
There was a woman in the audience who you may know. She's very well known in town, Kathy Bell. I did not know her. Her daughter was born with a blood disease and survived off of blood transfusions for the first like 20 years of her life, and then had a bone marrow transplant. And she's an amazing, beautiful, well-rounded woman. I didn't know that. Kathy comes up to me after and she goes, "You don't know me, but lady, you've got a story to share." And I looked at her and I said, "No, I don't. I'd never shared my story. I wasn't going to share it with her." Like, opening my mouth on stage in front of 200 people shocked me as much as it shocked my audience.
Oh my God.
And so I said, "No, but I would love to know about you."
Uh-huh.
She said, "Well, let's go to coffee." So multiple coffees, lots of lunches, many dinners of focaccia, and lots of wine. From September 12th until about Christmas, she got my story out of me.
Oh my goodness.
And she said,
she worked for it.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So and then of course, February of 2020, the world shut down with COVID.
Yeah.
So I wrote my story in my first book, The Accident, which was then translated into Spanish. It's the El Accidente. You will pronounce it much better than I.
Sí.
I had a lot of training before I opened my mouth. And my story was born. And it was geared really for older children, younger teens. And it comes from a place of wanting to be understood, understanding that we are not alone, understanding why we are bullied, why people bully, and so on. So I started on the speaking circuit with The Accident, small speaking circuit. I went to your book clubs and your Kiwanis and your Rotary. And every audience I spoke to, I heard the same retort. You have to share more of your story with more people. It's inspiring. It's motivational, da-da-da. And so I don't know really why, but I sat down at the computer like last December. So that was 2024. And I started writing. And I started journaling some of the stories I was sharing out loud that were in the first book. In part because they weren't appropriate, because it was for younger audiences, but also because I wasn't comfortable sharing. And the more I spoke, the more vulnerable I became, the more comfortable I became, and the more stories eked out. So those stories are all in Becoming Visible.
Oh, and I see that.
And that was a turning point.
That's a bigger book.
Oh, it's a much bigger book. Yes.
Stories.
It is my full memoir. No more secrets. They're all in this book.
And tell me more about these stories, Gayle.
So there are stories about how I overcame my trauma, how I started out, as my husband would say, as the mouse, and now he says I'm a moose because I want to be visible. I want to share my story because what I'm learning is a little about what you alluded to earlier, which is as I share my story, I continue my healing.
Yeah,
right?
That's so true.
And as I'm vulnerable with 1, 3, or 300 people, they learn that they're not alone.
Yeah.
And that they can heal by sharing their stories.
Yes.
We all have secrets. And when we lift those secrets off our shoulders, what happens?
We are just...
We are invincible, is what you
really
were going to say, right?
We are, because there's nothing that anybody can do. Once we've put it on the table, what are they going to do?
Exactly. But that weight is lifted off our shoulders, which allows us to be more authentic and fully ourselves.
Yes.
And I'm not invisible anymore. I refuse to be.
I love it.
That's why I survived. I didn't know why I survived, but I survived so that I could share my story and inspire and motivate and encourage others to do the same.
I love that. And bravo to you, Gayle. I love hearing this. it's so interesting. There's a lot of people that have come into this interview and they spend 30 minutes with me, and I've known them for 10 years. I don't know them, but like it's so intimate and just the information we share. But I love to watch your personal journey and growth through the last 10 years, just from when I knew you. Like it started out with just sharing, and look at you now. This has become an entire mission in life. This has become, I mean, this is your why you're here. You got to share it with the world. And it's so beautiful. All of us have like this, I've been on my own journey, but this awareness aha moment in different times of our lives, right? And it keeps evolving into something different. But I love to see where you're at in life and how you've embraced. And we were talking right now about retirement and how Gayle's been retiring. I don't know how long.
8 years now.
8 years. But how that sometimes kills you.
Yeah.
And you have so much more to live. I mean, I feel like you're just getting started.
I am. The new me has just been reborn.
I see
Yes.
it. It shows. So perfect. So thank you so much for that. I love that turning point. So let's dive even a little more deeper into this story and this chapter. Talk to me about up to now, what you've learned. What did Gayle learn about herself that she had no idea she had in her through this?
Yeah. So Gayle had no idea that when she was over time, because none of this happened like overnight, right? This has been a 70-year journey.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've learned and continue to learn is through learning to overcome my trauma, overcoming fears, phobias, self-doubt, lack of self-confidence, imposter syndrome, I've built a toolbox. And it started, which is in the book, started by taking a phobia course.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so I need one.
Yeah. So when we knew we were moving to Arizona, we knew there would be snakes. Yeah. Harmless, poisonous, and everything in between. And I was petrified. I could not open a book with a snake in it and touch the picture of a snake. How was I going to survive in the desert? So I took a phobia course. Okay. And it was done by, it was traditionally in groups, like group therapy. Mm-hmm. And it was facilitated by a young man who was pursuing his PhD to help people overcome fear of heights, fear of snakes, fear of spiders, all the phobias, right? And he met me one-on-one and he said, I don't think you're going to do well in a group. I think you need one-on-one help. Mm-hmm. Then I said, I think you're right. And he said, walk over to that bookshelf and grab one of those books and bring it over here. And it was one of those little like golden books we all read as toddlers. Mm-hmm. And it was about animals. And he said, open to page 32, which I did. And there was a snake. And literally the book went into the air and on the floor. And he said, it's going to be a while. And I said, and how much will this little while cost me? And he said, well, let me tell you. He said, it's on a sliding scale, but you are going to be my challenge and you are going to be my, what do you call it when you get your PhD, your thesis.
Oh.
Right. So we met every week. It was supposed to be 6 weeks. We met every week for about 5 months. Okay. And I went from being able to touch a picture of a snake to touch a rubber snake, which I could not do until my very smart husband said, touch the tire of your car, touch the rubber snake. There's no difference other than paint.
Oh my God,
it took me weeks.
Awesome. Yeah.
Weeks.
Right.
My instructor sent me home with the rubber snake. I made him put it in a paper bag and in the trunk.
Probably in a little box. I would have locked it up.
Yeah.
Like just in case.
And I went from that to meeting Max. Uh-huh. Max was a beautiful coral snake that this young man had.
Oh.
And the first time I met Max, Max was in a terrarium at the bottom of his feet, all in clay, so I couldn't see him. And I walk into the conference room and I said, "What's in that box?" I said, "Oh no," and I walked out. He had to come find me in the parking lot.
Yeah, I bet.
I graduated.
Woo! You did it
by taking Max out of the terrarium, wrapping around my arm, taking him off, putting him back in the terrarium.
Oh my God! Really, Gayle?
Really
awesome. You're like, I'm not happy about that, but I did it. It's
no,
over with.
He
it's
was
done.
beautiful. He was just, yeah. And I get emotional when I talk about this story because the reason I share that is I learned so many things about fear.
Mm-hmm.
I learned so many things about me. I was afraid of heights. I was afraid of snakes and spiders. I was afraid to fly. I was afraid of relationships. Fear just encompassed me.
Mm-hmm.
And through those months of classwork
Mm-hmm.
and reading and listening and sharing, I built a tool chest to learn how to overcome challenges.
Right.
In work, in life relationships, in everything.
I love it. Gayle, thank you. And, just the importance of processing, of therapy, of programming. I mean, we've talked so much about this, and we've got about 8 minutes. I want to just take a moment to just acknowledge our sponsors, Chris and Corbin Edwards, Tucson Appliance. Thank you so much for hosting this platform and allowing me, Kasandra Prieto, your best friend in real estate, to interview such beautiful minds, such beautiful stories. For all your residential house needs, make sure to reach out. For any appliance needs, please make sure to go to Tucson Appliance Company. If you guys have any questions on this, and we are going to be sharing Gayle's information on here, but if you have any questions or you want to reach out about the show, please make sure to do so. We'll have all the information at the end. But we're going to dive into our last question. We've got about 8 minutes left. So I want to make sure that Gayle really shares our wisdom. And I love your story. I feel like there is so much growth. Gayle, very quickly, when would you say you started this healing journey? Because I feel like we live through life, but there's a moment in time truly where it actually something clicks and we open up that door, because most of the time it's shut. How long would you say has it been since you started on this journey, this healing journey, that you've been open to healing?
Really, about 18 months.
18 months ago. Oh my gosh.
I turned 71 in March.
Oh my gosh. Okay, see, that's beautiful to hear. It's never, ever too late to do anything. It really isn't. And the quality of life that you have right now to most of the life that you've lived, I'm sure that has even elevated a little bit more. But okay, we're going to go into our last questions. And I just really want everybody to take away that it's just, there's never a perfect timing. Everybody has their own story and their own moment. But what matters is that you get started, that something happens in your life, and sometimes through pain, through suppressing it for so long, eventually Gayle's like, I'm done. Let's just do this. I need to enjoy my life. So some wisdom that you have to offer for anybody. If somebody's listening right now, Gayle, maybe, I don't know, someone in their 40s, 60s, 70s that has lived a life where, you hear about therapy and you hear about healing and, it's such a popular topic that some people get so annoyed with because, old school mindset sometimes, right? It's hard to adapt. But what would you have to say to someone that's thinking about writing a book or giving a speech or inspiring someone, but they're scared and they think is it even worth it at this time?
It is worth it. And I'll tell you how and why. So I think I said it or alluded to it earlier, right? When we share our stories, our secrets, any of that, we heal. But before we're ready to start sharing, we need to know that we're not alone. Mm-hmm. And the way to do that, at least for me, is to tell someone. It doesn't matter who that someone is, a spouse, a friend, a priest. It doesn't matter who. right? If you're young and in sports, go to your coach.
Mm-hmm.
Someone you trust, and tell them what your struggle is. And tell them, share with them what your story is, even if it's only a piece of your story. Don't feel like, oh, I'm not ready to like just open up.
Mm-hmm.
That comes with time. That comes with support. That comes with self-confidence. Tell someone a little bit, a little piece of your secret. They, provided it's the right person, will listen. They won't tell you what to do. They won't tell you how to do it, but they will tell you that you're not alone. And they will tell you that you are worth sharing that story because other people are dealing with the same thing. It may be a different trauma. It may be a similar trauma, but we all heal in different ways and in different times.
Mm-hmm.
There's no rule to how to grieve.
Mm-hmm.
I lost a part of myself that I found.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us have lost something, a job, a spouse, a child,
Right.
a piece of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
When we start to share that, that's when we open up. That's when we start to listen more to ourselves than to others.
Mm-hmm.
And as you start sharing, you get more, at least I got more comfortable sharing more and more. That's how my book started. The first book and the second book and the book in Spanish. And I encourage my clients and my friends to journal. And there doesn't have to be a rhyme or a reason to journaling. Just write whatever thoughts come into your mind. When I told my husband I was going to write a book, he said a couple things. He said, don't worry about title, chapter, organization, just type.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, you start putting the stories together and there becomes a flow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you develop chapter 1 versus chapter 8 versus chapter 30.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And as you go through that process, you figure out the key pieces that you want your audience to take away.
I love that. Thank you so much, Gayle. We are almost out of time, but I love that we've really maximized our time here. So we're going to go ahead and ask you for your information, Gayle. If someone wants to reach out to you, has any questions, even for life coaching, what is the phone number or email? Where do you want them to reach out?
Yes. So my phone number is 602-621-0042. My website is www.first, spelled out, impressions, plural, the number one, .com. And if you want the books, you can get them from the publisher, also through Amazon and my website, www.booklocker.com/13819.
19. All right, guys, we will have that information. So if you want to contact Gayle and you didn't gather the information, make sure to Google me, go on my website. A lot of you have been emailing me, also sending me Facebook messages, and I absolutely love it. So if you have more questions about the show, you want to come on, Chris Edwards really wants to put this out to our community. Anything that's helpful, valuable, uplifting, that's what we want to do. So thank you so much for joining us today, lifting you up with Kasandra Prieto, your best friend in real estate, sponsored by Chris and Corbin Edwards. For all your appliance needs, if you need absolutely any appliances, I know that Chris has this huge thing going on right now with the tariffs. They went and they bought all kinds of stock. So there's a lot of items that you can get at a discount. There's luxury. There's pretty much something for everyone. And remember, Kasandra Prieto, your best friend in real estate. If you have any real estate needs, any real estate questions, simply want to get informed, go on my Facebook, reach out to me, send me a message, Kasandra Prieto with a K and one S. Kasandra with a K and one S Prieto from Agua Prieta. Make sure to reach out if you have any questions. I'm so glad that you were here, and I hope you took so many nuggets away from this wonderful conversation with Gayle Petrillo. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. And then we'll see you guys next Saturday. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was Lifting You Up with Kasandra Prieto, your best friend in real estate, sponsored by Tucson Appliance, Chris and Corbin Edwards. We will see you next Saturday. Oh my God, this was awesome.
Was that what you
This
wanted?
is perfect.
All
I
right.
love it. I love
Awesome.
it. Gayle, I'm so inspired.
Mhm.
Truly, I feel like I've been learning so many different